and there is little knowledge of them. The local Christians have Western mindsets and reject what is native and fear what comes from their parents and villages. There are practical difficulties. How does one include cultural elements into the usual liturgy? The Western Church is designed with a head or authority in mind, while the indigenous congregate in a circular manner.
When I visited the Tiboli tribe some years ago, there was a foreign missionary who was there, who has been there for years. And she was proud to tell me that they built a modern cathedral or a chapel for these tribal peoples. But the people wouldn't use the new building, and instead they preferred to meet in their old meeting place, which was really indigenous architecture. And when I asked her why did the people not want to use the new chapel, and she said because these people were complaining that all they could see were people's backs. They wanted to see faces. This is very reflective of Western aesthetics, that one practitioner or specialist controls everybody else. But this is not the way we communicate traditionally. We communicate by consensus. We talk together, we ask questions, and people answer, and we arrive at whatever we should arrive at.
How do you keep the vision alive when it is far easier to slide back into what is accepted and normal and Western? Pastor Ed Lapis travels extensively to explain what cultural redemption is. How do you popularize what is folk and indigenous to a society that has been westernized in its taste in music? The march toward the redemption of culture and arts in the Philippines has met successes. One victory is acceptance. During the centennial year of Philippine independence, the government named Caloob as the official resident dance company of Expo Filipino. A year-long exposition and the country's grandest celebration of independence from Spain. This was in recognition of the group's faithful rendition of indigenous Philippine music, dance, and rituals. There have been major incursions into the Christian mainstream. Day by Day Ministries' Caloob Dance Company has been part of major Christian events in recent years. In many Christians, fears have been assuaged. There have been converts and catalysts.
I think this is what cultural redemption is, that you can use who you are. You can appreciate who you are as a people and use your own culture to represent, to put your heart out to God and worship God. And I think if we do that, then the Lord will bless it. The Lord will use it. The Lord will appreciate it and honor that as a worship of His people.
Through the Caloob cultural redemption, they are able to resurface some of our cultural identities that we need to be proud of, that we need to really harness, and that really shows who we are. That we are rich in terms of our cultures, traditions, and we can glorify God.
For as long as Caloob is faithful to its vision of resurfacing the way we as a people relate to the supernatural God, its work will always be important and its work will always be needed as generations come and generations go.
Dinig nila yung tungkol sa kultura ng tribo na sabi bawiin yung mga ibang kagawian ng kultura na hindi dapat ibigay sa iba kung hindi ito ay ma-preserve para sa kabutihan ng ibang mga sa susunod na mga generation pa.
The mission of cultural redemption or restoration has been heard in many countries and cultures. It is recognized as a valid need by quite a number of countries. The local ministry, those involved in the task of redemption, has multiplied. There are to date 300 redeemed dances, songs and rituals. While some sectors may still be debating these issues, EDLAPIs and day-by-day ministries have moved to reclaim one of God's greatest legacies to humanity, the arts.
The road was never an easy one. Hostile opposition and aggressive resistance came from everywhere and from everyone. Institutions, Bible schools, congregations, educators, pastors, everybody shunned us. We were branded. Now that's history. Many institutions no longer brand us, and many conservative people no longer squirm when we use gongs in our liturgy. But while most of our rabid critics have been silenced either by enlightenment or irrelevance, much work still needs to be done. But we have just begun. The artistic heritage of the nations, damaged by culturally destructive evangelization, is still crying and begging for redemption.